are live. This is Sunday Scaries presented by Cottonwood Media. I am your host, your favorite host, and newly Mr. Artic Tiger. Shouts out to the all-white Bengals. And I'm joined by, as always, the doctor, Sandy G, the glorious one. What's popping?
I'm going to throw in the I am now Mr. Farkle.
Mr. Farkle, all right. That game, don't play by the actual rules. Play by the ones you want to make up because that'll make the game so much more enjoyable. You have no idea what we're talking about. That's fine. Today, we're going to cover all of the divisional rounds, the ups, the downs, the funnies, which coaches are in a big trouble, which players are in more trouble. Start with Saturday.
Let's do it.
Work to Sunday. Got a little bonus UFC 283 action. Might just be a hand up moment where you have to admit what you picked was wrong.
I was very wrong.
And then we have an announcement at the end, and it will be exciting. Get ready. Let's go. All right, Saturday. Saturday, first game of the day. Chiefs Jaguars. This is tough. I went 4-0 on all my picks this week because they were not hard picks. Fine. The Jaguars played a little better than I think people might have given them credit for. It was cool seeing Trevor Lawrence not turn the ball over a Peterman amount of times. It was cool watching the Chiefs battle through a lot. I mean, a lot. You want to just get right into the injury topic of it all?
You're going to have to remind me who got injured.
The only guy that mattered.
Oh, geez, Mahomes. Gee whiz. Yes.
Gee whiz.
High sprain for Mahomes. Kind of scary. Went out and Henny did exactly what he needed to do. 98-yard drive, which was great.
That's crazy.
And yeah, I mean, kind of scary from that point forward. Second half onward, he definitely didn't scramble as much. It was kind of a lot of quick drops.
He was looking so awkward out there at times doing, I mean, they were showing him go right foot, left foot, hop back to his left foot. So he didn't have to go back on that right foot. He was really struggling. But the report today was right. He felt better than he thought he would.
Well, hey, there you go. Yeah, it's always scary for a mobile quarterback to have that kind of injury because you know you're going to have to game plan around it. But with a quarterback like Mahomes, he makes those crazy no-look passes. He makes the across the body left goofy stuff anyway. So
he's running and jumping at all times. What kind of impact do you think this will have? I mean, he's going to play next week, but I feel like this might be very detrimental.
Well, I think they're just going to stick with the game plan that they had for that second half, which is just, hey, we know our quarterback is not going to be as mobile. With a team as good as the Chiefs, with as many weapons as the Chiefs, I think it's not going to affect them too much. I think they will play just as good as if he wasn't hurt. But again, they're just going to have to change things up a little bit.
That's pretty fair. I'm hoping it doesn't really slow him down because next week could be a shootout of a lifetime. But Trevor Lawrence looked really good kind of throughout this game at times. And then there were times where the Chiefs defense was clearly too much. The path forward for the Giants is very bright. Or sorry, Jaguars is very bright though. Giants are in trouble. I'll tell you about that. But
oh boy.
You know, what do? They have the coach of the year. I'm going to call it now.
Nice.
Doug Fresh.
Dougie Fresh.
Doug P.
Oh, yes. Doug Peterson, coach of the year, I think is a great pick for coach of the year. You also said in our pick'em that Zay Jones was going to have, I think you said a monster game, but still he was their leading receiver. So good guesses there.
Well, I thought for them to compete, he was going to be uncovered a lot. So he was going to have to make some plays. He did make some plays. Christian Kirk had a tougher game. He had one bounce right off his hands. You would hope he would catch that. It was a little they called it overthrown, but I mean, sometimes you got to make the hard catch, especially when you're paid to make the hard catch. Uh, ETN still had a good game. And I like that the Jaguars don't just abandon the run when they're behind.
They want to use their weapons, and they use them well. Like you said, it's just good coaching, I think. A lot of belief in that locker room. Tough loss, but I mean, you're playing against the best team in the AFC. So
Sure. I mean, I think if you want to get technical, they covered that spread and they made that game kind of more competitive than they thought, and even down to the wire. The play to kick the field goal to bring it within a touchdown, and then the onside kick, which could have gone very bad for the Chiefs. Tony landed on that thing, but it was squiggling like a like a greased up pig. I thought there was a chance. That's all I was hoping for was a chance. But the Chiefs are who we thought they were. And if you have a backup quarterback that can come in and just go 98 yards, and the Jags defense isn't bad.
no, not by any stretch. No.
I think they actually did a very, very good job in the second half, which gave them the opportunity. Their offense was just a little outmatched, maybe by the defense.
I think there was just a couple of miscues, like you said, some balls were overthrown, maybe. Maybe the pass protection wasn't as great as they wanted it to be.
Sure.
Overall, though, like I said, I mean, you're playing the best team in the AFC. You did well. There's a lot to be happy about in the Jags locker room. Next year, if they can keep their core people happy and keep feeding who they need to, I think Jags will be some fun or a fun team to watch next year.
I think the real turning point too was the Jags are driving and they were within the 5, and Agnew just
goofed it up. Yep.
Inexplicably had wet ball syndrome, and just it's that Always Sunny in Philadelphia bit where they go greased watermelon in the pool.
Wet ball syndrome.
Wet ball syndrome.
Yeah.
I thought you would have known about this, doctor. That's crazy.
That's a new condition. I'm gonna have to look more into that one. That seems like a rare exotic disease.
It creeps up very rarely and every once in a while, but when it does, it is devastating.
Oh man.
So the worst part was he returned the next kickoff for like it was a long ass kick return.
Yeah.
Isn't that when yeah, Butker dove at him and he kicked him right in the chin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
he did catch an ankle or catch a heel.
He got a chin tackle, so Butker, tough.
Yeah. Just some miscues. There's pieces together. Yeah, I think Chiefs, they did what everybody thought they were going to do. So it's not a surprise. But surprising that it was so close. Maybe the injury had a little bit to do with it. Who knows?
And the Chiefs have proven yet again, whoever they decide to hand the ball off to, just going to run the ball. Right? McKinnon, pretty good. But they were really led up by, I don't even know how to say his name. Pacheco?
Yeah. Pacheco was great during the season. I think to have a young running back playing well on a team that is not classically running it.
They haven't had a good running back since Jamal Charles.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily saying Pacheco is that level. What I am saying, though, is exciting. And I think it opens up the playbook for Andy Reid's offense. When you have a running back, what I've noticed throughout the whole season for Pacheco is he's just strong. You put him in between the tackles and he can plow through some people. So
that's great analysis there. What do you do, Jaguars? Good season. Let's grade their season.
Sure.
Overall, rough start. Oh no, okay start. Rough middle, super ending, playoff victory. Bright future. I'm giving them a minus on the year.
Wow, that's very generous. I was thinking more like a B.
Okay.
Reason being is because, like you said, they had a bit of a tough stretch in the middle there.
Yeah.
We saw a lot this season of Dark Tyler.
Dark Tyler.
Okay, we'll call him Dark Tyler. Yeah, I mean I think we've already said it a lot. I mean, this is just it's going to be a fun team to watch.
Yeah, I would. Maybe the worst part for them is the Chiefs are young, the Bengals are young, the Ravens are still legitimate, but I think they're going to own the AFC South for the next 5 years at least.
What I saw, and this may be conjecture from some sports pundits, um, they offered him a deal, Lamar,
Okay.
a $133 million offer. Didn't see the year amount, and he said no. Up from 113,
Well,
they added 20 mil to it, and he still said no.
at one point he wanted 250 million, so he's obviously probably not going to go there, but
Yep.
fine. Firm handshakes to the Jaguars on a competitive game, a good season. Chiefs are rolling. I've locked them in as my Super Bowl favorite at this point.
Okay.
That's
Safe.
That's what I'm. Yeah, it is safe, but tell you what, when you host 5 consecutive AFC championships, there's a problem. You're very good, but we'll talk about what happens next week. Next week. Oh, you want to ring them up?
Let's do it. The Jacksonville
Jagging off.
The Jacksonville Jagoffs 20.
No, not Jagoffs. They're jagging off.
And the Kansas City, you knew what we were going to do, Chiefs 27.
Good. I liked that. On Twitter, they had the hashtag what IAW TJ. It was always the Jaguars. It's way harder to remember than say, but it was always the Jaguars. A lot of fun to be had there.
Feel free to drop a follow on our Twitter page.
Yeah.
At Sunday Scaries 22.
Yeah. Find us there. We got all sorts of fun stuff going all the time. We're working on hiring our meme expert. He doesn't know it yet, but he'll be there.
Shout out to Dylan.
Shout out. Here's the worst game of the day, of the weekend.
The most boring.
Yeah. New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles. What is your number one takeaway from this?
My number one takeaway is
just your gut reaction.
Where are we going with Daniel Jones from here?
Fair.
I think it's kind of similar to the Jaguars. Really great start. Kind of an interesting middle of the season, playing in a very competitive division. Did what they had to do to make the playoffs. But this game particularly was kind of a what the heck, he's playing like he has shown us he's played. So
well, yeah, I mean you can't paint stripes on a horse and tell me it's a zebra. Okay.
Yeah.
You can't glue a party hat on a horse and tell me it's a unicorn. You do for bad games at any moment. And my biggest thing from this was pre-game, the reports coming out that Hurts was maybe only 70-80% healthy. He said he was nowhere near 100%. And then he unloads just a beat down on the Giants. And the Giants defense was supposed to be better than their offense. So I think the whole thing went bad from the start. I think Hurts just like he didn't really have to pass the ball too hard. He very much just controlled the game. He killed them running the football. He killed them in big spots. He would pick up what he needed. He ran that touchdown in. You know, uh, the Eagles are a well-oiled machine, and everybody contributes. I think that defense might be a little underrated.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're still top five. I think people have said that for most of the season, but the NFC Championship game is going to be very fun because you have maybe a number 5 defense against a number 1 defense. So
Yeah.
it could be a very low scoring affair, but regardless, you are going to have the 2 best teams in the NFC playing, and that's kind of
What you would hope for.
yeah, it's going to make for fun watching.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't realize this, but Eagles Twitter informed me that when Boston Scott plays the Giants, always scores. And he did it again. I think he has something like 60% of his total career touchdowns are on the Giants.
Yeah, I saw that like 10 touchdowns total against the Giants or
He
something
just
like that.
brutalizes them. I don't know what his deal is, but who'd have thought? Shouts out Boston Scott. Who'd have thought? Not me. Not
That
me.
that rushing game, like you said just a little bit ago, it didn't matter who they put in there. They were cooking them for yardage. They were cooking them for touchdowns.
They ran the ball for 268 yards. That's an absurd number.
It's good.
That's absurd. But let's look at the Giants. Let's take a look at the team that everyone is so stoked on to have a bright future. Dable, pretty good coach. I think he is a very good piece for them. This is the first time they've made it to the playoffs and won a game since their last Super Bowl. Is that right?
It could be. Sounds right.
It hasn't been good for them. That's what I know. If you're a Giants guy, feel free to just correct us in the comments, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. That's got to sting. Going into next year, you guys have got to figure out what is Daniel Jones to this team, because he's a free agent. You have to figure out what Saquon is to the team, because he's a free agent. And you got to not pay bad wide receivers exorbitant amount of money to do nothing. And we all know who I'm looking at.
Who are you looking at?
Well, let's just take a look if he got closer to his. That's tough. Tough. Tough.
All right.
Galladay, 0 catches on Saturday. So you still finished about, was it 80 something away, 87 away from his 83?
No, 73.
73, thank you. What do you have to do? Catch 80 on the year?
Probably something like that.
So he's terrible, but congrats to you guys for paying millions there. The defense is good. You have a good one with what's his face? Thibodeau. He's an animal. But offensively, it's a nightmare. It's really a nightmare. And you could pay Saquon all that money, and he might get hurt. And if we're smart here, right, Giants, this is between us. If we're smart, we don't pay Daniel Jones. We let him go to free agency. And when no one else wants to pay him, he then has to take your deal. Because I don't know. I was thinking about today. I can't think of more than 3 teams that might have any interest in him at all. And all of those teams are drafting insanely high in the draft. So why would they care?
Okay. Are you thinking that with what we have kind of seen in the playoffs, maybe what we saw in the middle of the season for the Giants, they might try to go after a Mr. Brady?
He would never go there, though.
You never know.
I wouldn't. Dude, how long do you think he's actually going to play?
Brady?
Yeah.
Until he can't even get out of bed.
He's going to be 45 next year.
Mm-hmm.
How many years would you sign him to?
2-year deal.
Yeah, I guess you're right. That's probably right.
Let him retire with the Giants.
The team that got him in the Super Bowl twice.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be fun.
Take him to a Super Bowl and then retire.
And beat the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Ooh.
NFL rigged.
Confirmed.
This one's kind of a dead game. Eagles stomped. I think they are my NFC Super Bowl favorite at this point.
Very safe.
I know, but like, what are you supposed to do when a team looks like this? What do you do?
It's hard to answer. Great defense, every single offensive weapon. When one is not having a great game, 3 others might. You can't really stop them.
I mean, today was just like run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. They got AJ Brown and Devonta Smith out there just waiting. You slip up for a second, that's an 80-yard touchdown, just waiting to happen. They're loaded all around. Niners are loaded. Eagles are loaded. I just think one of them has a better driver of the offense. So we'll see. New York Football Giants. Fumble it again. 7. Philadelphia. Fly, Eagles, fly. 38.
Love it.
See you in the championship round.
Very fun.
Yeah, that was a terrible game. We had to watch it too.
It was pretty boring.
Hope Giants fans are okay.
It'll be all right.
Let's paint a picture. I wake up late. It's Sunday morning. I think there's a game at 1:30. Not at 1:30 anymore. At 12. Gotta prep my mind. Yeah. 30, 40 minutes. Try to load up. What was this on? Fox? CBS. This is on CBS.
Mm-hmm.
Try to load up my CBS app. We're loading it. Joe Burrow immediately scores a touchdown before I can get the fucking thing loaded. And I'm like, oh, here we go. What's happening? And then the snow. And then more snow. And then terrible camera shot of it's not a good look. Hamlin's there. They kept showing him. Terrible camera shot. Can't see him. There's too much snow. It's blinding. The
Could be anybody.
The crowd is. That's what I said. Lucky my audio was on. I'd have been like, this guy got great seats. Damn. Bills fans are going nuts. Bengals score again. Oops. 14-0. Bills cannot move the football. Now people on the internet. Cincinnati's got the white jerseys. It's basically cheating. It's basically cheating. Well, you made them wear them, just so we're clear. And they got bright orange helmets. So just look at those for a minute. Now NFL rig flying. What are we talking about, Bills? Going at halftime at 17-7? What are we doing? You guys cannot move the football. Josh Allen looked like he was trying to not turn the ball over, and just the level of conservative plays were off the chart. Then in the second half, they do no offense at all. None. The Bengals defense looked nasty. And you can't at this point think to yourself, man, the Bengals are just lucky. There's 2 years in a row now that they're just like beating teams that have no business beating. Except for they do, obviously.
This defense, I was saying it all season, is very underrated. I love the Bengals and what they've been able to do this season. I think it was a great divisional matchup due to what happened during the season towards the end, with the game being canceled, and it's good to have them back at it, kind of doing a redo, quote unquote, and
Sure.
and they won. They came out on top.
Now, you had a great suggestion while we were watching this game. Uh, since they didn't redo the game, this one should have counted for two.
Yeah, I was thinking that, maybe to make it more fair, if we wanted to call it that, they should get 2 wins. And based on those 2 wins, maybe that switches it up a little bit. And now Cincinnati has home field over the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know. I don't know how that would work out, but just a suggestion, NFL.
They should have consulted you immediately.
I should have got a phone call.
Uh, say something nice about Eli Apple, because hand up, I have been killing him this year. He actually played a very good game.
He played well this game. A veteran that can kind of step up in a big game like this is somebody you want on your team. He had a very interesting dance on the sideline after the last defensive
I don't know if you
possession.
can show that on TV.
He was doing some questionable things with his hips and hands.
He was slapping the ham.
And the camera did not pull away.
He was enthralled.
This is a family sport. This is a family event.
Camera guy locks in, pulls out notepad, and then swipe hand back and forth. Imagine a big old butt right in front and just wax it with your hand.
It was vulgar, but it was fun vulgar because they won. It would have been embarrassing if he was dancing like that and then they ended up losing. So
would have been good for the internet, though.
Still pretty good for the internet.
I thought Joe Burrow played awesome. I think he's developed this sense of confidence that is so quiet and so dangerous. He does not care anymore that people think they're not that team. He is going to be so good for the Bengals franchise. He's going to fix their franchise. I also thought it was very funny when they put up that stat. He has the most career passing yards in Bengals postseason history. Like Andy Dalton wasn't in the playoffs like every year. That's what happens when you go out and two and barbecue. You just the late 2000s, early 2010s, you just knew the Bengals would make the playoffs. They would play an early Saturday game and they would just get scorched.
Yeah, that was a safe bet.
Even kind of surprising that he passed Carson Palmer so quickly. But that was the curse of the Bengals. Make it to the playoffs and lose in the first round badly. The Bills' defense was clearly hurt too.
As they have been for the last half of the season. Just players have been dropping, losing Von Miller like that. Even though he's been, kind of a great voice, a great leader, off the field, losing a player like that who cannot be on the field is going to affect you no matter what. Micah Hyde was out too. It's just it's a tough look for that defense who was so great when they were healthy last season, to not be so healthy and lose like that. But they're still one of the best teams in the AFC. They're gonna be. The scary thing, though, about that whole thing is Stephon Diggs being such a little diva.
Well, yeah, let's get into that then, because that is unbelievable.
We saw this exact same thing in the playoff game when he was getting all pissed off at Kirk Cousins and then immediately asked to be traded. We saw almost the exact same thing today.
He's running the Stephon Diggs playbook, page 1, complain about my team and get out.
I hope it's not like that. I think Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs is a fantastic quarterback wide receiver tandem, but
it's like he forgets what happens in the regular season and then just has a meltdown when things don't go perfectly in the postseason. And good on Josh Allen for there was that sideline interaction where Josh was just looking at his uh, Microsoft Surface Pro, sponsored by the NFL. And Diggs walked over and he was saying something to him, and Allen didn't look up. He could not have cared less. But the report was Stephon Diggs sped into the locker room after the game and just left. And they tried to bring him back in because he was out of there before the coaches were even in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to bring him back in, and as soon as he went back in there, he snuck out again and just left. So he did not participate in any post-game team camaraderie, any post-game team, it's okays. Which is very funny because if you consider that Trevor Lawrence waited in the tunnel for every one of his guys to like leave the field and say good job to him, very different results, very different actions.
I think it's just the kind of player that he is. I'm sure that somebody called him, maybe even Josh Allen called him, just said, "Hey man, I know it's frustrating. We love you. I'm really sorry that I couldn't do what I needed to do as a quarterback." This is all conjecture, by the way. I'm not saying this happened.
You didn't tap their phone lines?
No, I wasn't inside, but um, you just got to know with a passionate man as Diggs, you just got to know that he's going to react this way when things get really frustrating. I'm hoping that it's not a "God damn it, Kirk, throw me the ball" situation.
Yeah.
2.0.
Well, here's the other problem. Where could he possibly go that would be better for him?
At this stage, with how much belief he has said he's had in Josh Allen and how much he loves the fact that he's playing in Buffalo, I don't think you would want to go anywhere else and play for any other quarterback.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, you can blame the defense all you want if you're the Bills. Your offense scored 10 points. So obviously he's probably frustrated from that as well, So what do you do?
I did say this was going to be a shootout, and it wasn't necessarily a shootout.
No.
But ultimately, Bills still one of the best teams in the AFC. I mean, basically, you were going to say once the playoffs started, it's either going to be Kansas City, Bengals, or Bills in the Super Bowl. And
yeah, I mean that's safer than saying every day ends in Y.
Pretty much.
If there is problems in Buffalo going forward, how long is it before the conversations start that Josh Allen is not the finisher? He's not the guy.
I think there's a lot of validity to that being said right now. And I would say his biggest, blemish is just seemingly, not saying this is the case, but seemingly careless with the ball in terms of fumbling and throwing picks, especially throwing picks in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
So
it feels a lot like the big games can get away from him. But I mean, obviously he puts up ridiculous numbers. He is unlike any other quarterback in the league with just size, ability to run, ability to throw. But he just makes some real tough decisions that kind of haunt them. In this game, he played very safe, had the one interception at the very end of the game that didn't matter. But, nobody crashes the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
it's tough.
They have no running back.
That's also another key factor, too, is that that Buffalo's game is pass, 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 pass.
Yeah. So I think either they need to get a running back or they need to get like a top 3 tight end.
You don't think Dawson Knox can be that guy?
He's an okay tight end. He's very athletic and good, but he's nowhere near like, in my opinion, I don't think he's anywhere near like Kittle, Kelsey, or Goddard.
Sure. Yeah.
Those guys are all like very good. They're very good at receiving, I think, because they're very good at blocking. And you don't know if they're blocking or running around. And I think that's the scariest part. And I think if he was a good blocker, because what all three of those teams, what do they have? Good run games because they got mean tight ends that love to block. And then if you just assume they're blocking, they're going to go 20, 30 yards down the field and burn you. So with that being said, I think next week Bengals Chiefs is going to be very good. And depending on actually how Mahomes looks, there's no reason you should count the Bengals out of that game. I know I have the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl, but it would not in any world shock me if the Bengals went into Arrowhead and just did the thing.
Yeah, I've said since the playoffs started that the Bengals were going to be in the Super Bowl. I think a lot of people discount them because, like I said, you got the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals in terms of who's going to make the Super Bowl. You're probably going to go Chiefs, number 1 bet, Bills, number 2 bet, and then 3 Bengals. Yeah. I just think they're a well-rounded defense that's been discounted for so long. And obviously that offense with Chase, Higgins, and Boyd, it's just a great passing game. And the run game Mixon. I mean, hey, he had that 5 touchdown game in the middle of the season, which was fun. He doesn't do that all the time, but this game, great. 105 yards and a touchdown. That's exactly what you need when you're passing it all over the place and doing a good job. So.
I agree. So shouts out Bengals.
Hey, I'm very happy that they won today because it gave you the
I picked them in this too. I just didn't know they were on their white uniforms.
I love it.
Shouts out the Arctic Tigers.
Shout out.
Cincinnati. Where are those receipts? Bengals. 27. And the Buffalo. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. 10. Tough luck again.
How many tables were broken by the Mafia today?
How many stores are mad that they didn't win and more tables should have been broken? Over, under. I wonder what that culture's like when they lose. Do more tables get broken? They're like, God
damn. They might actually break less tables when they lose.
All right. Well, do you think okay.
Over 100 tables.
Over 100. Yeah. Oh, I'm with you.
All right.
Do you think that they didn't break enough tables and that's why they didn't play very well?
We should blame it on the fans.
You guys got to wear this one.
Bad news.
Bad. Only your fan base cared more about the team and was willing to sacrifice their bodies through more tables. You could have pulled this one out.
They should have.
You think this is the game of the weekend?
This game? No. I was fairly bored for the boys and the Niners.
I kind of agree. Do you think it was the closest game of the weekend?
Yes. And I want to say, just like we were blaming the Bills fans for the Bills' loss,
let's blame somebody else.
I'm going to blame Jerry Jones's pep talk to Mar because he was out there kicking practice field goals for 6 hours. And then 30 minutes before having to go in the locker room, Jerry Jones says, if you fucking miss any field goals, I'm cutting you, buddy. Yeah. And he did miss a field goal. It was blocked. I'm saying it was a block.
We'll never know. We'll never know. He could have made that.
The internet says it was going to be shanked. You said it was going to be shanked. I'm saying it was just blocked. Nothing you can do.
Except for maybe kick it higher than 6-7 feet.
It's not good to miss 6 kicking attempts in the playoffs. Not good.
Okay, you know what? That's excellent analysis, and I couldn't agree more with you on that. The crazy part is he only misses extra points. He kicked 2 other field goals just fine. But can you imagine going out there and just seeing so many demons? Every time he goes to kick that ball, he's got to face those demons. I
Well,
can't. That's too much to handle for one man.
we said it at halftime while we were watching this game. He upgraded from having the yips to having the yaps,
It's a yip yap combo.
and it's rough. However, if we really want to be real about it,
Okay.
it wasn't his play that lost Dallas this game. I would say you could safely place it on Dak. And is he really your answer for who you want?
I love where you're going with this. Really drag him.
I,
I mean, flesh out the situation.
I think tied for most interceptions.
He had the most interceptions this year,
There you go.
and he played fewer games than Carr.
Yeah, 4 fewer games. Um,
Might have been 2 at the end because Carr didn't play the
oh,
last.
sure. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I guess you can call it that. I don't know. After that 4 tutty performance in the beginning of the playoffs, first round,
Against some absolute losers.
sure. You got to keep your TD interception ratio at least equal in every playoff game. Yeah, 1 and 2 is just not going to do it, especially against a defense as strong as the Niners. So
Well, when you are the number one scoring defense, maybe don't give them the ball.
there you go.
Thoughts? Yeah. I mean, you knew in your heart and your soul where this game was going when in the first quarter, Dallas played great defense. They punted the ball, and 2 plays later, he just is throwing the worst pass. It was not even close. And luckily, the Dallas defense is pretty good. Number 2 defense, because they stopped the Niners and only let up a field goal. But I mean, if you're the Dallas defense and you are constantly being forced to play miracle ball, you got to be so frustrated. You got to just be like, why are we forced into this week after week? You're the Broncos. And Dak has been to the playoffs enough. He's been the starting quarterback long enough. Every time he gets to the playoffs, it's just a comedy of errors. And you have to think, no way is this possible. But every year, you get something new and fun. And this year, we got what has to be, to end the game, 3 plays in a row that were so bad. First, you pass it to Schultz, and he turns and gets pushed out of bounds going backwards. Clock keeps going. Well, now we got to run up there. Then we throw it to Schultz again, who catches the ball and is just like, well, I don't need to put my other foot down, I guess. I'm just going out of bounds. Wild. And so now you're like, well, Dak, does he have the arm to throw it 65 yards into the end zone? Answer: let Ezekiel Elliott play center. Let him snap me the ball. Line up every big body we got to the left.
Oh, boy.
This will be a highlight on worst plays, worst trick plays, worst NFL plays, every montage. Best plays of 2023. It might be the best play of 2023. I don't know. Elliott snaps the ball back, and then what I thought would happen would be him leaking out towards the left. You talked about this. You thought they were going to push all the linemen way upfield, leak him to the left, and then try to do some screen, pitch, hook, and ladder, because all of the good players or skill players were on the other side of the field. All of the blockers were on the other. What are we doing? So none of that happened. The ball gets snapped, and as every good defender knows, you go and get the ball. Ezekiel Elliott pretended like he was going to block a guy twice his size and just got thumped to the earth's core. He got blown up. And he legitimately looked like he was like ready to block that guy, and he got killed. And so what does Dak do? Throws a 10-yard like post over the middle, and the guy gets killed on that too. We don't even get a fun hook and ladder. We don't get anything. I don't even think the lineman moved, if we're being completely honest. I don't know what was happening.
It was a crazy play call. And, you said those three offensive plays were just like, what the hell are we doing? Before that, even though, they burn 30 seconds, 35 seconds, Dallas does.
Before punting it?
It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in the world. You only have 2.5 minutes left. You got to hurry up. You know you're going to be punting. Run everybody out there. Only burn 10, 15 seconds.
And just launch that thing.
I don't understand it. Zeke got blown up. In a play call like that, when you're spreading everybody out and you only have one lineman who's not even a lineman.
No, come on.
You have to run some sort of screen left, screen right. They had everybody go out and do stupid routes, and then they threw it for 9 yards.
It
doesn't make any sense to me.
But you're right. That pump play, this is Dallas, like thinking that the game clock doesn't matter. Like, well, we'll just play when it says 0. We're just going to give a few more minutes. Like, this isn't soccer. When the time runs out, the game is over. And they just do not care. They really don't.
The last 3 minutes of the game were inexcusable.
Even the Niners, Mitchell getting that nice run that ended the game until he just ran out of bounds on his own. That was bad.
Yeah.
Got to clean that up.
Yeah.
Thinking back to that, it is mind-blowing.
It's a really tough situation to be in. I think what we talked about maybe last week is that Dallas has got to shake this reputation of just botching it in the playoffs. And you got to get to an NFC championship game sometime soon.
We them boys?
They weren't them boys today.
All right, let's play who gets fired.
Okay. I like this game.
Kellen Moore, fired.
I think that's safe. If he's the one that's calling all those shots in the last 3 minutes,
fired.
Very reasonable to be like, you got to get demoted or we're just going to be done.
Well, in the last 5 weeks of the season, he went from being a head coach somewhere else to not having a job anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened to him. That's out Pride of Prosser. I wouldn't mind, and I think this is really hard now, but every year Mike McCarthy does this. I would fire him, honestly. I would try to figure out a new quarterback situation. Because, I mean, it's hard. When you look at it on paper, you go, wow, we have a good team. Never do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares if your team is good if you do this every year? You got to do something different. I don't know.
Here's an interesting thought.
Okay.
Sean Payton to the Dallas Cowboys?
Honestly, it would be an improvement, I'm sure.
Wouldn't that be kind of fun?
Yes, it would be. Why not?
I think Dak would improve his play.
I agree.
I think the talk when Sean Payton was coaching the Saints was just him and Breeze together was what needed to happen to make Breeze kind of get that upper echelon of quarterback play.
Sure.
So, I mean, if you want to improve the quarterback position and, subsequently all the offense, just throwing it out there.
Hot rumor, he was in Denver today.
Oh,
that's the hot rumor. He took a flight to Denver. So, but Denver already announced they were going to interview him. So, I mean, that wasn't like a secret, I guess. But
oh shoot, really?
That's what I had heard.
Okay, I like that rumor.
My informant in Denver.
We got eyes everywhere.
If you think we don't see it, we saw it. Hey, knock that off.
I don't know what you're talking
about. Knock that off. You know who I'm talking to.
Oh, yeah.
We're like Santa Claus.
Oh, my God.
But we're not giving you any presents.
Yeah, never any presents.
But you can sit on his lap.
Please don't. I don't need another case. So I picked the boys, you picked the Niners in our pick 'em. Honestly, I should have just went with the Niners because I've been saying it. It's going to be Niners Bengals in the Super Bowl. I just thought that, Brock Purdy, third string technically. Oh gosh, there's a lot of pressure. I mean, he didn't play astronomical. He didn't blow anybody's tits off, but he did exactly what he needed to do. And
well, when he doesn't turn the ball over, that Niners defense will do the rest. That's kind of what I think.
Sure.
Offensively, he didn't do squat. But again, this is the number 2 defense in the league. So to pretend like Dallas's defense is bad is just dumb. Micah Parsons, very good. He will get second in Defensive Player of the Year.
Who's getting number 1? Who's getting the
Bosa?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And not the angry one.
Nice one.
Regular Bosa.
Regular Bosa. Not spicy Bosa.
They should get those. The Watts should play together, and Joey and Nick should play together.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. That would be fun.
What if all of them played on the same team?
All the Watts and Bosas played for it would have to be the worst team in the NFL, the Texans.
The Texans.
Dang, that would be great for JJ. He would love to go back there for a little bit. Just have some fun.
One more year, JJ. We can do it. You get JJ and TJ and the other Watt that plays fullback.
I think Devin.
Yeah, sounds maybe right. Sure, why not? And then you get Joey and Nick, and they get the NFL all-time team sack record with like 100 in a year.
Texans get into the playoffs as a 9-8 team with the number 1 defense. I like that. Let's make that happen.
Their defense scores more points than their offense.
You can't write a better script, right? Trevor said it.
I don't know how you could block that. It would be unbearable.
That's fun.
Every play would be a screenplay.
We got to put in some calls.
All right, let's do it. You can thank us Texans for any future benefit you get out of this.
Truth. You want me to ring her up?
Yeah, we can ring this one up.
All right. The Dallas, what is you doing, Cowboys, 12. And the San Francisco, everybody dancing the street, happy, 49ers, 19.
They showed that graphic when the score was 6-9, and it just was like nice. But the more impressive stat was, at one point, Brock Purdy was 6 out of 9 completions for 69 yards.
Ooh, that's super nice.
Super nice.
That's a triple nice, man.
That's so funny.
Triple.
The internet is a barren wasteland.
Yeah.
We're just going to contribute to that, though. It's fine.
That's fair.
All
okay.
Right.
So
do the ad read.
This episode sponsored by Vitamin Vaping. I don't have it on me, but trust me, you'll get healthy. I guarantee it. That's the Dr. Colonel seal of approval.
Not an actual doctor.
Allegedly.
I think that probably just a disclaimer, not a real doctor.
Yeah.
Smoke your vitamins. Great ad read. Let's get right into the UFC. What, 238, 258?
283.
283. Dyslexia kicked in there for a second.
That's all right.
What do we got? This is our first time ever covering this too.
Yeah.
So we're expanding, doing a little expansion. Okay.
The investors love to see it. Diversification of the portfolio. So on Twitter, I said a very strong support of our Brazilian fighters this weekend for UFC 283, particularly Tejera and how, even though I said he was getting old, he would win, and Brazil stand up.
You were a firm backer.
Very firm backer. Jessica Andrade and Burns, both from Brazil, did win their matches, which was great. However, the top card fighters did not. They got beat pretty badly. And Glover, particularly, looked pretty rough at the end of his match.
His eye wouldn't open.
Yeah, he was all taped up. They obviously had to cut a few swelling issues out of him. Great career for him, but ultimately,
Is he done?
I think those are the whispers. We'll see what happens. Great career though. I just missed pretty poorly, so I apologize to the entire Brazilian community in mixed martial arts.
Going hand up on this one.
It was me.
Okay.
It was me. I apologize.
No,
And that's really all I got for them.
no belts for Brazil.
Not at this current moment. I don't think. No, nope, none of them.
Well, let's turn that around. Yeah, let's turn that around.
We'll get it figured out.
I don't know much about UFC, but I got a sneaking suspicion I'm going to learn.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. I think we're gonna try to branch out into UFC and boxing. Admittedly, boxing is more where I have leaned in terms of fighting sports. We may even go super slap fighting hour with Dana White.
We should talk about that. We have to talk about that.
Okay, let's talk about it. So,
Oh my God, dude.
by now, I'm sure you all have heard of the situation with Dana White and his wife.
There's no way, dude.
A domestic situation occurred in plain view of all public individuals, and video went rampant quickly.
The slap fighting started early.
It was just unfortunately a few days before the slap league that he has created, was supposed to go live. So they obviously postponed it.
This was our first week of it.
This was the first week. A lot of people got really beat up.
Badly. Like, the NFL is concerned about head trauma. I saw more people get permanent brain damage in like 30 minutes than I do in an NFL season. It was kind of hard to watch, like aggressively hard to watch.
The thing that surprised me, well, it didn't surprise me the most, but the thing that was most interesting to me was fighters who are not part of UFC, Pride or Bellator maybe, were coming out very strongly on Twitter and saying how much of a abomination this slap fight was, and said exactly what we said, which is, holy crap, you're seeing live permanent brain damage being committed and being experienced. So the future of this sport,
It can't be long. I mean, it was the video that I saw that was like the most, like, Stephon Diggs is tweeting about this, and he's like, what am I watching? He goes, you can just watch this on TV. I never watch TV, and you can just watch this on TV. And he's like, that's brain damage. And when an NFL guy is like, this is violent, that is a terrible sign. And at least, you know what? I understand that like UFC and all those combat sports are very physical, very dangerous in nature. But the difference is you don't have to let the other person hit you as hard as they can. You at least can defend yourself. It's rare, but it does happen in the UFC where someone just gets absolutely cold cocked. Maybe it's a flying knee. We've seen that. Like, that guy looked like he died. What's his name?
Askren.
Yeah, I thought he died. I actually thought he died. Or anytime like Ngannou just like starts throwing mega punches.
Oh, and also speaking of Francis, he declined the UFC offer. I think, if I remember correctly, it's going to be like an 8-year. I don't remember the dollar amount. And he said, no, that's not enough money for me. So
nice. Maybe he'll join the slap fighting league and actually kill somebody.
Maybe. I think ultimately, for a kind of league like this, you can do it in a country like Russia, or
where they're built different.
Where there's a little less concern for human life.
Yeah. What did I say?
Oh, they were both different. But the United States of America, I don't think you can have a league like this.
Watching just like what I saw of it left a weird bad taste in my mouth. That guy, the two people that had it the worst was that guy that got just crushed and fell straight back. Nobody caught him, and he immediately went like dead corpse. Arms are stuck in the air. I mean, he was. It looked like when Tua got thumped, minus. I mean, he just was. Nobody was home, and he went rigid. And then the other one was that gal that got smacked, fell backwards. They kind of caught her. She wanted to stand up and then just did a somersault.
Yeah, flipped over
and laid there. It's like, oh my God. She lost motor function.
Here's I think the biggest issue with this specific league right now.
We're gonna sign you up.
One, I'm not gonna participate. That I might box somebody.
What if there's a lot of money on the line?
If I'm guaranteed some money, maybe we'll talk.
Okay.
I think the problem is that in this league specifically, the officials that are watching and are supposed to immediately cut when things like this are about to happen, and other officials are supposed to come in, catch the people who are about to fall, whatever. I didn't see a lot of that. I saw a lot of just like, oh, this person's falling backwards. Oh, we're going to keep going. We're not calling it yet. Oh, okay. They're falling on themselves. They are putting their hands up in the air.
Yeah.
And convulsing on the floor. Okay. I saw a lot of that. You can't have that. Even the Russian leagues, like as soon as the guy starts falling back, immediately somebody's catching him. Immediately another trainer is coming to them.
They end those fights pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I think that's the biggest issue is that they don't know how to officiate this yet. So
that could be an issue. And another issue could be like everyone has done like the slap bet with your friend, or oh, I've gotten a little slap boxing with my buddies. No one on earth has specifically quite trained to be as athletically powerful as possible, just open hand smacking somebody. And if you bust that jaw, you pop them right in that temple. I mean, there's nothing you can do. You know, you convert, if you convert like 225, 250 pounds of mass and just torque it where the end point is your palm blowing out their brains, it's terrible.
Here's an idea.
Okay.
Dana White, if you do this, I expect some money pronto.
Fixing the slap league. Got it. Here we go.
Rebrand.
Okay.
Because it's looking scary so far. You're going to want to immediately jump on this because you already hit your wife in public.
Immediately.
Rebrand to, sorry, that was kind of a goof. We are going to do an arm wrestling league.
Oh, hey, that's smart.
There was professional arm wrestling like in the 90s and early 2000s. That was still really fun.
It's still pretty popular though. Like I see a lot of videos of like those, like the what do they call it? Like the professional arm wrestling league, the PAL. I think it's the PAL.
Okay, yeah.
And like the face of that is like Devin Lariat.
Mm-hmm.
He's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You could really promote that and get that thing popping way up, because like those guys are very good at what they do and they know how to not hurt themselves while doing it. Like there's going to be the occasional broken arm.
It looks so bad when they happen.
The noise is the worst too.
Oh man,
it's like a fucking Kit Kat snapping.
Oof.
But you don't see that really in the professional league because they know what they're doing, right? Much like in this slap league, they know what they're doing and they're going to kill somebody.
Yeah, I'm saying Dana White, let's rebrand it. I'll come on. I'll handle your marketing. We'll clean this up, man. Give me a call.
That's an excellent offer you've tossed out there.
I'm just trying to help out.
I like where your head is at on this one.
I'm just trying to save the people.
Hey, you know what? If he doesn't do it,
we will.
Maybe Cottonwood Media can get involved. I'm just saying. Don't count us out. Also, on record, our goal is to own a professional sports team somewhere. It will not be American, but we'll own a team somehow. And I'm not fucking Gary V. I'm gonna own the Jets.
Does he own the Jets?
No, he wants to, but he hasn't figured out how to trick enough people into buying his shit. That guy's a moron. You
can only sell the things you found at Goodwill so much.
Oh my God, it's a slight tangent. He put out this like, you want engagement? Do this, get engagement. If you want more money, you have time on your hand. You get on that bus and you go down to your local club, restaurant, whatever, and instead of being on your phone, use that phone to sell stuff. Go in there, steal those chairs, and sell them. What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
What an interesting
That's
choice.
theft. You're going to jail.
I see no problem with his advice.
This guy's gonna steal bar chairs until he can buy the jets. What a moron.
I think that's foolproof.
What a moron. All right, good luck to you, bud. Time for our announcement.
Big time.
In 2 weeks from now, we will be announcing our XFL and USFL teams for the year. And spoiler alert, I doubt we all pick the same team. So we will have some rivalries built in. And I don't even know which teams are rivals. So a little quick refresher, okay? XFL has what, 8 teams?
8 teams.
And the USFL has, I think, probably the same 8.
Yep. Both have 8.
We got teams in St. Louis, Seattle, Houston, Vegas, DC, San Antonio, Orlando, and Arlington for the XFL. You can leave some comments, see if you can sway us to get behind your team, because we're going to do a lot for them. I can already feel it. And for the USFL, this is going to be hard for us because there's a heavy East Coast, but Birmingham, Houston, Memphis, Michigan, led by our one true hero, Jeff Fisher. New Jersey, New Orleans, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and the Tampa Bay. So we will be doing some in-depth looks at all those teams and coming away with our favorite. We'll probably all have a different favorite, but it is possible some of us line up. But now's your chance to sway.
I already know my USFL team.
I know what way you're leaning there, but we might all end up leaning that way.
I think it only makes sense.
The XFL starting next month again, led by The Rock. I don't know how that's going to go.
What do you think? Name your number one thing in the XFL that's going to be real entertainment value. What would The Rock be able to add as an idea that would put the XFL in a different level than what it has been? Like what sort of thing, maybe in a game or promo type thing? What do you think?
Okay, so back in the old days of the XFL, I don't think they did coin flips. I think they put the ball in the middle of the field and
they scrum for it.
Both teams lined up a guy on like the 45 or 40 and had him run. Whoever got the ball got the choice.
Yeah.
And that led to immediate injuries. Who would have guessed? Running an Oklahoma drill from 20 yards apart led to immediate injuries. What will make the XFL different? Probably nothing. What will make it entertaining? The celebrations. I think it's going to be unmatched potentially. And I think a lot of these teams are, I think the first year it was like, if you won, you got like a bonus, like $500 or something. So
nice.
They're really out there giving it their all for that extra scratch.
Okay.
But we might need to get to an XFL game.
Yeah, that would be fun.
It would be easier to go to an XFL game than a USFL game because they have, I think the closest team to us is Vegas.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's not the worst idea, but all right.
What I remember from the XFL the first time around was that they were marketing it as like the sexy NFL. So like they had a lot of cuts to the cheerleaders compared to your normal NFL game. The cheerleaders were in interesting poses on the cards that they had. I remember.
Oh, you had XFL cards.
I had a couple of packs of those cards just for fun. So I would say this year, let's flip the script a little bit. It's still going to be the sexy NFL.
Okay.
But it's going to be a male lingerie league.
I'm out. I'm super out. I regret letting you say that.
It's fun for me. It's fun for me.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I regret letting that. Got this.
okay. Here, flip over to the USFL.
All right, USFL.
What is one thing that we can really get on the USFL that's going to set it apart? I'm going to say this.
Okay.
All the teams start out in bankruptcy, negative millions of dollars.
Well, all right. So that sounds about right at this point. Yep.
If you win during the regular season, you get added X amount of dollars.
You want them to play Monopoly.
Essentially, yes.
Okay.
And at the very end of the year, the team with the lowest total, they just get cut. And then a new city gets to come into the USFL, make their pitch, take that 8th spot.
Yes, I like that. Actually, I like that a lot. It doesn't have to be necessarily money based, but they should relegate some of these teams. Here's my prediction for the USFL. They will play this season, and after the season ends, about week 5 to 7 in the NFL, one of these quarterbacks will be a starter in the NFL for some reason. PJ Tucker. Was he XFL or USFL? Either way, it's going to be one of those situations.
Yeah.
He was XFL guy.
Good. I like that.
These players are going to not be good.
Well, I think when they reintroduce these leagues, the pitch to maybe like, because the NFL obviously run the gambit of professional football, obviously.
Of course.
The pitch was just like, we could kind of make this almost like farm teams for the NFL.
Yeah,
I think that was the pitch.
That was at one point.
So, I mean, yeah, screw it. That might interesting partnerships maybe between certain teams and NFL teams.
You could do that. I also wonder too if the USFL maintains any success or gains any success, if they'll be able to steal a draft pick.
Oh wow, from the NFL.
From the NFL. They get enough money that they can convince somebody to not go to the NFL but go to the USFL instead.
You know, it'd be fun. NFL draft day, call the kid's name. He's not there. Really embarrassing for the NFL.
He's already in the USFL.
He's already said yes to the USFL. He's at home. They have a cameraman there. They cut to him.
I mean, that was Kelly for the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
He got paid a hell of money. But all right, I like where we're going with this.
Every single one of these ideas that we just said, sans the male lingerie, is going to be taken from these leagues. They are going to steal these ideas.
Well, that's fine. That gives us credibility and maybe a lawsuit.
I like that.
Let's go. Free think.
Okay.
Free think.
What's the topic? What do you want to think about?
Whatever you got.
Sure. Thanks, man.
Well, I mean, this is just where we get it free form. You can say whatever you want to say.
Okay.
You can open a Pokemon pack if you want.
Oh, I could do that. God,
hey, you guys should go check out our friend's channel, Sandy and the King. Those guys are pretty cool. They do card openings sometimes.
Really good friends of ours. They might even live in this house.
They're us.
Let's see. What do I want to free think about?
You don't have anything. We don't have to do it. That's the point. Just free form.
What do you feel
okay.
is missing in professional sports right now? What's one thing that you think would be, so like we already talked about what we could do for the XFL, what we could do for the USFL. I'm talking about all professional American sports. What's missing? Officiating sucks.
That's a good point. I think it would be fun if every team, so every summer the Mariners do this and they send their players out on a road trip and they go to different places and they do a talk and you can get their autographs and stuff.
Right.
But they always send their like AA guys in Dave Valley. And I don't care. But it'd be cool if every team kind of just did they did like a player convention where they would all get their own booths. And for 4 hours, they would sit there and I could go around and talk to them.
Okay.
That'd be fun. I'm sure that's very dangerous, but it'd be fun. I don't know.
I like it.
That's like a dream scenario. Seattle Kraken, first place.
Yes. Kraken scoring like 5.5 points a game. Pretty wild.
Hey, you know what? Good time to be a Kraken fan. When the NHL playoffs start to heat up, you're going to get some NHL analysis. Might not be good. I might tell you how cool they look skating, but we're going to learn. We're going to learn all of these obscure things together. That's kind of what I got for today.
Sure.
Firm handshakes to everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're working on getting this pushed out to podcasts, so soon enough you don't have to watch a video. You can just listen, have a good time, laugh with us.
You don't have to look at my ugly mug.
Laugh at us. I don't care. Just laugh. See ya.
Bye-bye.